Hey y'all, it's Bailey and welcome back to the channel for what's going to be another dupe or dud. I recently uploaded one that I will link over here. This one is going to be on a palette that I've actually already done a dupe or dud for, but I think you can't have too many, and personally I think I like this dupe more than the one that I did last time. Once again, I'll put like a card or something wherever they appear. They're there. It's the Naked3 palette. I'm going to be comparing it today to the Wet n Wild Au Naturel palette, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably looking at this either having seen it or tried it yourself, and you're thinking that's clearly not a dupe because it has like this beautiful burgundy shade and there are just some very obvious differences. I want to point out that pretty much every time I've talked about the Naked3, I like it. It creates beautiful looks, but what might be an unpopular opinion is that it doesn't have a huge range of shadows. It really lacks contrast across the lighter shades, and even, you know, there's not a really deep shade or really colorful shade. And as a result, I find that while the looks I create with it are very beautiful, great wedding palette if you're looking for one, they create a lot of the same looks. Like, no matter the combination of shadows you use, a lot of it is the same. So I notice in using this Wet n Wild palette that retails for, you know, $5 as opposed to, what are these up to now, 52, 54, whatever they are. For $5 you can get like the same core shades but at a tiny fraction of the cost. So I wanted to kind of lay it out for you here, show you which shades I think are dupes, kind of describe the difference in formula, and then, as usual, in case you guys have never seen dupe or dud videos, I like to, whenever possible, be wearing both of the same products at the same time so you can see just how close they are. So in this video I am wearing the Au Naturel palette on my right eye and the Urban Decay Naked3 palette on my left. Like, I've found similar shades across each, applied them in the same spot, and I will show you a demo here as well of how I applied them and exactly which shadows I applied to get it. I just like to use it as a way to point out just how stinking similar they are. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, let's talk formula differences. I find that the Au Naturel palette is a little bit powdery, but kind of finely milled. A lot of the shadows in the Urban Decay Naked3, mostly the shimmer and micro glitter shades in here, are a little bit chunkier in texture, I think. Whereas there aren't those micro glitter shades in here. They're pretty consistently shimmery, and so they're a little bit smoother. I think they're a little bit more pigmented, a little bit easier to layer up because they are powdery, but you do have to worry about fallout there, kind of as a result. That being said though, given the price difference, I'll take a little bit of fallout and just do my foundation afterwards like I always do. Pigmentation is the same across both, I would say. In fact, I forgot to apply eye primer. Like these eyeshadow looks are both without primer, and so the Wet n Wild doesn't need primer to stand up to the pigmentation of the Naked3. Like, they are both, I mean, they both perform well, but the Wet n Wild is just as pigmented, as you can see. So that's another plus going for it as well. And now I want to talk about exactly which shades are closest in color. A lot of them are lighter, but I did want to create kind of a deeper corner out here to show you that there are some similar deeper shades here as well. First, let's start with Strange in the Naked3 palette. That's very similar to the light cream, which, do these have names? No. Shade number 1. They are numbered here on the back. Shade number 1 in the Au Naturel, or actually it's called Nude Awakening, just for reference. There is an like, this must be the range of palettes, is Au Naturel, and Nude Awakening is the actual name of this particular palette. So Strange aligns with number 1, and then you have Dust and Burnout, which are kind of the lighter pink. One tends to be more of an intense shimmer, and Burnout is more of a pearlescent, light, creamy pink shade. Those align exactly with shades 2 and 3 in the Wet n Wild palette. Then you move on to Trick. You get that classic coppery shade that I know a lot of people love in the Naked3, and that is done really well by shade 4 here in the Wet n Wild palette. And then Buzz in the Naked3 palette, which is another really popular shade, I feel like, the kind of shimmery pink with slight micro glitter in there. It's done really well by shade 5. Obviously in the Wet n Wild though, you don't have the micro glitter, but frankly I find that on me the micro glitter in the Urban Decay 3, unless you foil it, really doesn't show up on me either. So those two are very similar. Then in the Nude Awakening you have shade 7, which is the gorgeous deep burgundy, and then a shade number 8, which is very close to Blackheart, and that is what I'm wearing on either outer corner. Like, It's either Blackheart from Urban Decay or it's that same shade equivalent on my Wet n Wild eye. And then I also found that Dark Side over here, it's not an exact dupe. Dark Side is this really deep kind of purpley leaning taupe matte shade, similar to shade number 9 in the Wet n Wild palette. Definitely not an exact dupe, but I am wearing them both in the outer crease today to kind of help marry the Blackheart shade with the rest of the shadows on my crease, and on the rest of my lid. So not exact dupes, but for all practical purposes and like when actually creating a look, they get the job done. And then there is this matte black number 10 in the Wet n Wild that can't be found anywhere in the Naked 3. So like I said, this was really just to show you that no, not every shade is exactly duplicated. In fact, the Wet n Wild palette offers one more strikingly beautiful burgundy shade that the Naked 3 doesn't have. When actually wearing it on the eyes, I think you are going to get a lot of similar looks and have even more versatility because of that burgundy and deep matte black shade that comes in the Wet n Wild palette than if you spent the 50-some dollars this Naked 3 has gotten up to now. I just feel like that the Wet n Wild is more worth your money. So while it's not an exact dupe, I think the looks you get are very well duplicated by the Wet n Wild, and I like this better than the Blush Nudes, which is what I did a dupe or dud comparing the Naked 3 to originally. So if you're gonna pick, and it's even cheaper than the Blush Nudes, like this is $5 and the Blush Nudes is $9, $10 depending on where you find it. So way prefer the Wet n Wild Au Naturel Nude Awakening palette against all of them, and would highly recommend you check it out. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really hope it was useful, you enjoyed it, helped you save a few bucks in case you have still been eyeing the Naked 3 and couldn't really, or you're repurchasing the Naked 3 since it's been out for so long. You don't necessarily need to if you don't absolutely want to. You have a more affordable option. So like I said, thanks again guys. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!